That I think was in the first instance or in our rationale for having the program like that at all.
Okay, given that that's what you were looking into, how would you execute that in South Africa? How would you have them experience that? Would it be through, what would it be through? What would you use? What would be your vehicle? How, when you bring them to South Africa, what are you taking them to?
Through observation as well as methodology. In other words, if for instance we had the problem of nutrition, you would have to then go in depth into what the nutrition patterns are in South Africa as distinct from Grand Valley or totally different region. And then devise more in a more original way the kind of methodological interventions that would make sense. In other words, I wouldn't assume that students at Grand Valley would see things like sexual misbehavior, as an example, in Toledo to be exactly the same as you would have in Matatiele in South Africa, or for that matter in Johannesburg, because the conditions are impacting on them will probably be different because of social and cultural reasons.
Mm-hmm. Okay, again, let's say the Grand Valley State says, okay, we are buying your, this is still, I'm talking as you being the teacher at Grand Valley State. Let's say using the same reasons and your issues that you want addressed, and you go to the department chair and he says, no problem, go ahead, I think you should, but then when you bring them to South Africa, where are you taking them to?
Where am I taking them to, or
so that they can
how are we going to use that knowledge that we have?
What are you taking them to? Okay, in other words, when you bring them to South Africa to experience the diversity issues and all that kind of stuff like you're talking about, what environment are you taking them through? What are they expecting to see when you bring them to South Africa? What are you doing with them for them to be able to?
You don't know what you don't come there with ready-made methods. The important thing is going to be investigation. The importance of understanding the conditions so that they then tell you what kind of intervention methods would be required that are socially relevant, culturally relevant, and so on. So that most of the students here will be involved actually in investigative type of intervention. They wouldn't just walk into an area downtown that Cleveland without understanding why they're doing it. They thought it would go in there with the idea of saying what is happening here, and then they would record that as their experience, and as a result of that, end up with a hypothesis in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, the way to approach social work intervention in this particular case here is going to be impacted upon by the culture, by language, by history, by other things as well, which are most likely to be unlikely to be different in downtown Cleveland as they would be in Sobaya Town, Johannesburg.
Okay, let me play a devil's advocate in this case then. Let's say you go teach them and they understand that not everybody is cut out of the same cloth, therefore treatment is not going to be the same for everybody, given that they have to, and now they understand Guti social conditions and environment and understanding and culture plays a role. Then how is that going to help them when they come back to the States? What is the hope that they would have? How are you hoping that impact would have? What role they would have played when they come back to the States?
Well, they're not going to change anything. What they will do is they will be deepening the understanding of social phenomena, of social work itself, that it doesn't come in one bottle that you then put in the mouth of a student. That it would begin to talk to the notion of diversity.
Okay.
What the importance of diversity is not going to be the same. You are not papagayas. In other words, you are not going to be parrots. You're going to say, how would you in fact find out how different or how similar students in South Africa are compared to those in the States. Like these kids that were here, for instance, from Toledo and the area there. They may not have caught it at the beginning, but the experience can be under good leadership at the faculty level. They may begin to understand what you mean when you say that people are not the same, and the conditions do in fact determine what experiences you have, and therefore the learning methods and so on. In other words, their experience will be fieldwork experience in that sense. They will be able to say, now this is how social work applies in situations that are different. And then in that way, what you're doing is actually building up social work theoretical knowledge, which can then be applied in areas other than those that everybody else is familiar with in your classroom.
Okay, so hopefully you are kind of hoping to arm them with a skill throughout their social work career so that in any given case, regardless of where they are employed, they always have in the back of their mind that not everything, in other words, approach each individual or each case as unique.
Exactly. That is exactly the case. It is so difficult, even now, in so-called mature students, to understand the importance of that. There's always, I'm doing social work in downtown Cleveland. And then the question is, so what? How are you different from students that come in from Cleveland when they're doing the same course called diversity, social work practice in diverse societies? How are they different? The challenge there is to sharpen the students' ability to be able to make to make a discovery. Secondly, distinction between different methods of problems and how you then engage them. And the methods that you use are going to be different. You're not going to talk to an old lady in Cleveland and think that it is the same as the old lady that is in
Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills, or for that matter, Chesterfield.
Okay. Now, understanding now that I understand what you're saying, then when you bring, let's say you come to expose them, to teach them just exactly this in South Africa, what's the environment? What are you, in other words, I guess what I'm trying to get is that when you are bringing them there, like in this particular case, when Grand Valley State is willing to have their students come to South Africa, for you to be able to share what you are sharing with me, what are you, where are you taking them to? I guess when I keep saying where are you taking them to, I'm trying to say, how do you, as a proposal, then you say, okay, fine, bring them here. I want them to get an understanding of that. In what setting? Are you sending them out to individual organizations? Are you, in which case then, if Grand Valley says, oh, that sounds like a marvelous idea, then you do understand that means you yourself, Mr. Hwaba, are going to have to go to your black book and start pulling out people that you know who are in those organizations, but more than almost like an internship, who are willing to open up their doors to have these students come and experience this firsthand.
Basically, you don't deviate very much from the common approach to the particular subject. Now, in other words, when you're talking about the development, for instance, there will be community development in South Africa, in Chesterfield, in Langa, in Soweto.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are actually pursuing the same general theoretical aspect,
Mm-hmm.
or methodological thing, but they will be different depending on what you find on the ground.
Okay, so basically, I guess your task at this point, if you're to understand that that's what you'll be expected to do, is to then be able to align or put in contact these students with any of those community development organizations. I mean, that's what I'm just understanding, that that's what you're part of your proposal, basically. I guess the reason why I'm even going through this is because Mamsi, I was asking her to do what. Remember how you at some point wanted to say, you know what you would do, but at the same time you wanted to get an understanding as to what is it that Grand Valley State hopes to achieve. And from her going back and forth with them, she came to a conclusion that they don't have a clue, because even the way of asking her to come in to trying to give them an inside, perspective as to what it is that you are proposing is because they absolutely have no idea. They just want to have a program in South Africa. So basically, they're really asking you to create a program for them. And that's why I'm asking you now, because and like way before, we kept saying, well, maybe we can revive the old program when they used to come down. It might still be, in a lot of ways, is similar, but it's just that because I think everybody else on this committee is new, so they were not there when the other one was going on, so they don't even know, number one, why it was even started and what its premise was. They just knew they had a program in South Africa that at some point ended up melting away, but from her understanding, they haven't got a clue. So they're asking basically for you to make a job for yourself. So this is what you want to do. Then what is it that you're going to do with them? So that's why I'm asking you from your own perspective, because they don't know what they want. They just want to know that, especially with Dr. what's his name, Grant, he just wants your name attached to a program. And they themselves don't know what they want. And I guess that's why she was saying that it sounds like they want you to create your own job. But at least for you, it won't be too far-fetched, because it's something that you have always been pretty much committed to, and it's not a far stretch from something that you're still, in a lot of ways, involved in. So for you, at least you already know. You know more what they need, and at least we also have the benefit of having been on both sides of being in their school and knowing how they operate their curriculum and what's done. But like you said, if you were a teacher at that point and you wanted them to really get a grasp of reality, so that's what she wants to know.
You would hope that once they are, say they, the neighborhood there, they would begin to see that they are not the same with the people that they find there. And then the question is going to be, how different would they be? Isn't that the social work in area? Then you begin to get into this, the fact that conditions are not always the same. They don't, in the same way as a child, a baby that is born in a particular area does not have the same experiences, even though it is in the same area of child care.
Mm-hmm.